Welcome to the show. It's Monday on Your View. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akasha Zibiri. Looking like a lawyer today. I know it's red, but she has this.
You don't know the half of it. Okay? After today, I'm resuming at the office, so maybe. Yes.
Maybe that's right. Because you look very official, Bakosha.
This jacket has been there forever. I have lost weight, so it's not sitting well. Wow. Elder Shogo Omoshono's birthday is today, and I must say happy birthday to him. On behalf of Bumi, our producer, and his wife, Dickiness Omoshono, and I wish you quick recovery as well, sir. Happy birthday, sir.
Oh, happy birthday to him. I didn't even check my Instagram today because I was so busy this whole week. I got home really late last night. I've not even checked. So, are you guys able to check? Do you have any?
I don't have on my social media.
How are you, Mariam, though? First of all, how are you doing? Let's do banter first. Yes. They will not do shout-out. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you.
But you know that because we get the shout-out, sometimes you're like, oh, I'll just get a shout-out. I just say what. But it's just sad what's been happening across Nigeria. It's become such a disgraceful, embarrassing, as much as it is heartbreaking, situation where every day on the front pages of the papers, people calling you, people have been kidnapped, people traveling, they have been attacked, people are taken out of orphanages. I mean, it's just, what have we become? What are we doing?
It's something worth discussing. We'll talk about some of these things. I even got a very disturbing message, which I'm going to ask the producers to help us investigate. But talk about them. How are you doing?
I'm good. Grateful to God. Spent the weekend largely in the house. Had my cousins over. They had so much fun. We ate everything we should not eat. I exercised.
You can start dieting today.
We'll go back to dieting today. But
your house is such a house to welcome guests.
There's space. So every weekend, I've already scheduled another set for next weekend. It's pricey, but I just realized I'm reading a book. What the wealthy know and try to keep or hide. Brian Shea, I'll post it online. But it was talking about if you're thinking that being rich is about money, then you're not even scratching the surface of riches. That money is a means to an end, and that the real riches is your peace of mind, the relationships you've built, the quality of family time you have.
This one.
Let me qualify that. Yoruba says that meaning that honor is like when you have the money, try to buy that honor. So all the money we're trying to get is to buy the honor. But once you have honor, you have those relations, you have that regard, you have that. Don't just go back home because at the end of the day, the money you're gonna.
And last year for me was defining in terms of honor because the level of regard, care, love that I felt, and I'm sure you felt.
Social equity
that I got last year is more than the cash. There was so much love. So I want to deliberately now cultivate those relations. Come to the house. Let's have a. It will cost us money. We're buying ice cream, buying orange, but at least we're all together.
We'll bring stuff to you. We'll bring food over to come and say hello. Okay, I have to
do the shout outs quickly.
Okay,
so this person is Anthony. Her name is Tokumbo, and she's sending a birthday shout out to Anthony Daloko. Happy birthday, Anthony. She says, I hope this birthday shout out makes you smile. Love, Tokes. And then we have this person. They're twins. So they're twins, and their mother is sending a happy birthday. Turned 21 today, and their names are Toby and Tolua.
Toby and Tolua.
Happy birthday.
Twin set.
Happy birthday.
Just keep it
very far away from me.
Don't
try it, please.
Well, I have to say happy birthday to Mr. Emeka Eze, the head corporate communications and Nugu Electricity Disco. Remember he comes to our show.
Yay! Happy birthday, let there be light.
You're terrible. Let's go on a break. So for your birthday, please let there be light.
Let there be light.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages. Actually, there's not much to laugh about.
No, there isn't.
It's a really, really sad situation we have. But let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Right, we're going to start with the nation. Red alert in Southwest as quick notice to herders expires. Nigeria to buy AstraZeneca vaccine. Monarch declares Igboho God sent. I can't be intimidated, he says. 40 billion naira earned allowances released to ASU. Death toll to communal clashes hit 40. And anxiety in markets as CBN holds MPC parley. Lots of stories.
Yes, so let's share nation. Let me start with the new vaccine that we'll be using. So Nigerians have opted for, or Nigeria, the federal government has opted for the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine for Nigerians because, of course, it's cheaper to preserve than the Pfizer one that we were talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's the.
We didn't want Pfizer in the first
We did not even.
Yeah,
so according to the officer of the executive director and chief executive officer of the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Faiza Shuaib, we are not using the Pfizer one. The Oxford AstraZeneca one is more easy to preserve and has a 70% resident of 70 of resident doctors in Nigeria. Sorry, I've tested positive to COVID. I was looking for the the percentage. I think it's in the
70% specifically. 70%. They said even Nasarawa General Hospital, about almost all the doctors in the pediatric ward have been tested positive. So the National Association of Residential Doctors are shouting, we cannot, this is overwhelming, there's issues on ground and it is scary, and that we must make it compulsory for patients to reveal their medical history, because apparently the thing is people don't say that they've had COVID and they are spreading it among doctors.
There are two stories that I wanted to take. 40 billion naira. Finally, the ASU was supposed to receive 40 billion. So they're hoping that by the end of this month, ASU have received 40 billion. Okay. By the end of the month, they should get the rebalance of, I think, 30 billion for the revitalization of for the universities.
So this payment covers not just ASU, it covers NASU, non-academic staff union.
Because we had 10 goes to them, 30 to ASU. So, but I mean, they already had that issue.
No, 10% goes to SANU, Senior Staff Association. That's the senior, and then the other 30% is between the academic staff union and the national non-academic staff union.
And then
so no more quarrel.
And then the monarch in Oyo State was saying that Sunday Igboho is God sent. He said that all the efforts to get help to protect their community from criminal herders had been unsuccessful. So he felt that Sunday Igboho was God sent for that community, and he's helped them so far.
Sadly, another person has been kidnapped. The National Immigration Service PRO for Benin, for Edo State. The woman was on her way to church along Agbor Road, and she was pulled out of her car and missed gunshot. She was taken into the vehicle of the kidnappers. There's no ransom being stated yet, but this is the situation on ground around the country.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. Igangan Fulani crisis. Town presents evidence. Alleges herders collected 50 million naira ransom and raped 15 women. Robbers making way out of hotel kill Ibadan socialite. Family mourns plans burial as Nasarawa bandits kill captain and 6 soldiers. 3 feared dead as cult members clash in Lagos. Picture here of Edo Task Force visits churches, enforces COVID-19 protocols. FG to pay 71 billion naira counterpart funding for 6 rail projects. And Ondo eviction begins today as Southwest Governors Mieti Allah meet. Which story are we taking?
I got the family mourns and plans burial in Nasarawa State for bandits that killed captain. So not less than 7 soldiers were killed in an operation where they were going for a rescue operation at along the Mararaba Udege Road in Nasarawa local government area of Nasarawa State. They had gone in, there was a 14-man operation, and they had gone in and found that they had been ambushed. It was led by Captain, I need to get his name, Felix Kura. And then when they realized that they had been ambushed by the bandits, he quickly, shouted for all the others to escape, even asking that he cover too should escape. But unfortunately, about 7 of them were killed by these bandits. Force, the spokesperson for Nigerian Army, Segir Musa, says he denied any knowledge of this development, although there is confirmation about the death of this captain. So.
Okay, nobody's talking about the headsman. Which other one?
Which other one?
The major headline.
The major headline.
So I'd like to take
it in Vanguard?
I'd like to take it in the Punch because, of course, there's a peaceful arrangement in the Punch with the Fulani community seeking, understanding, asking that they are willing to, to live in peace with their host communities, and asking that they be forgiven if at all they have, criminally inclined persons amongst them. The town are screaming. We have Ondo, the 7 days ultimatum start today, saying that register The expenditure ends today, and your enforcement starts today. So register or leave our grass, forest reserve. You cannot stay within. And they have laws, old laws in Ondo State backing that up. So we have people speaking up for the governor of Ondo State. We have the Femi Falana and a lot of other senior.
And to add to what you're saying,
speaking up,
say that, let me quote the go-to spokesperson. Say that although the billions, there are million law-abiding Fulani men and women living in our midst, have absolutely no cause for alarm.
Okay.
Those Fulani criminals hiding under the cloak of being headsman, perpetrating evil against law-abiding citizens, are the ones that the times are up for.
Exactly.
So that qualifies and clarifies exactly what the issue is.
And the Gogo community have, they claim to have evidence of ransom paid.
Yes.
It was an eyewitness account in the Punch of about 15 women raped in that community. Yeah. And I think that the beginning of every, to fight every crime is to gather intelligence and investigate. If they have these evidences and the community is willing to partner with them, we can find the criminally inclined ones or, trace them to wherever they've run to with these evidences. So I would expect that instead of government giving back, threats back to back, they should start investigation, and at least once we have somebody pay for the crimes, people's worries would be doused.
And I like to connect that to what Nnamdi Kanu said. Nnamdi Kanu, as you know, is leader of IPOB, was saying, I thought it was interesting what he said, but he said that Kanu says, it gladdens my heart that all Nigerians, especially those blinded by political patronage, have realized that all people and ethnic nationalities and indigenous Nigerians have one common enemy, which are the bandits, murderers, and kidnappers, taking away our ancestral lands. So he was able to couch, and it's important that we take the conversation away from Fulani headsmen to the criminal elements. It's important that Nigerians clarify it very clearly, because if you keep saying brandishing Fulani headsmen, they are legal Fulani headsmen doing their job. They're those that are there. So let's be very careful how we qualify and mention these people's names. Okay, let's move on to Vanguard. Tension as Ondo governor's 7-day ultimatum to herders expires. Banks refund 2.7 billion naira to customers and complaints rise 34%. Maternal child mortality, I'll change narrative in Lagos, says Sanwo-Olu. Gunmen kill 5 in fresh Niger attacks. Abducted Taraba local government bus found dead. COVID-19, Unilag set for non-physical post-UTME test. Debt service greatest risk to Nigeria, says additional. And how NBED mismanaged 50 billion naira in escrow accounts. Okay, I have the Unilag story. And I am not against you want to say that we are all technologically inclined. The private universities are doing the blended learning of physical and online. Unilag doesn't want to join the bandwagon. No problem. We know you are here. But at the same time, you have indigent students amongst you who cannot afford laptops. So they've also identified that, and they said that they're going to see what they can do to help provide. They have friends, community members who are willing to offer. I don't know how many you can give out, because there are about 50,000 registered for UTME. I don't know how many laptops you want to give out to these indigent students, but it's nice to say you're going to do your examinations online. It's great, but please make sure it's done properly. So
you have the infrastructure.
With the right infrastructure to do it. That's all we have.
The funny thing, back in the days when we took some exams, we borrowed books, we borrowed implements to use. Right. Some people borrowed calculators. So if education is important to you, I used to say, if you have to burn a candle, leave your generator neighbor, burn your candle, make your success story.
Yes,
so make it work.
I'll take the main story. Right. So the movement for emancipation of Niger Delta had over the weekend asked that they should fulfill, that's the minister for NDDC, no, not minister, the minister for Niger Delta and NDDC fulfill their part of the arrangement as agreed upon. But another youth is coming out and saying that MEND is trying to distract from the forensic audits. Now, many people have been saying that when they offed the mic on the National Assembly, the entire situation concerning NDDC went silent. So that's why I'm particularly taking this story, because let's not be distracted by all the noise. MEND is saying what they are saying, but there's a forensic audit going on in the Niger Delta by the Niger Delta Ministry of the NDDC, and the entire country is awaiting the result of that forensic audit.
You want to take a story?
Yes, a very sad story. An orphanage was attacked, and bandits abducted 8 orphans from this orphanage called Rachel Orphanage Home, opposite UBE Junior Secondary School. And this is in Abuja that this happened, and this was on Saturday about 1 a.m. The anti-kidnapping joint task force that normally guards that area had just been had just retired, I think, a day before. And the reason why they did that was because there was lack of funds to keep them there. And just barely 24 hours later, they went in, got this orphan, and also, armed to the teeth. And that they had gone also to the neighboring compound and abducted 2 housewives and shot the husband of one of them.
There's too much
This is where we are today.
Yeah. We have to go on a break, but we wanted to remember that last week Friday was our friend Biggie Drinks, Mr.
Yes.
Birthday on Friday. We forgot to
posted it on Instagram.
Yes, you did post it. Thank you for that. Thank you. Happy birthday to Tyrat.
Happy birthday.
Oh, let me get her last name properly. Mr. Tijani's wife, Sha.
Tyrat
Tijani, yes. Tyrat Tijani. Happy birthday to you, many more years. They had a celebration over the weekend for that. Okay, let's go on a break. As I said, there isn't much good news happening out there because we're having a tanker burning, crashes, people dying, 24 people dying on the spot. I think that was in
Ondo State.
Was it Osun State?
Ondo State.
Ondo. There is Delta State, the gas plant exploded.
Yes.
I mean, this is the Nigeria of our times. Now, the question, therefore, is what are our leaders doing about it? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So over the weekend, reports has it that 4 persons and 11 others hospitalized after a gas explosion that hit Agbor, Delta State. The truck conveying cement collided with a Hilux truck in Akungba Akoko, Ondo State, reportedly killing about 24 people. Helpless citizens are dying on a daily basis due to the negligence of government. When will the government begin to realize that there's an urgency in the need to protect the lives of citizens and ensure that they protect us not just by but that the lives, but also the roads are properly built. Certain things shouldn't be in certain areas. For example, the gas plants within the residential neighborhood. These are basic things that any government that has an interest in protecting the lives and property of citizens should at least consider and insist on. Today, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this because Delta State and I think of Ondo State are our focus. However, this is a Nigerian story. We hear of this all the time. I mean, Lagos State, we say it only. Otedola Bridge is like the famous bridge where we've gotten quite a bit of this. Nima has been here talking about satellite times.
Yes.
Like it's a time bomb waiting to happen. God forbid anything happens. We pray that it never happens. But that's all we have, prayers. So we'd like to hear your thoughts today. You can call us on, well, our phone lines are still down, but you can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TV so we can read your tweets. And also send us messages on Facebook. Hopefully we'll get our phone lines up very, very soon so we can hear your thoughts. Nima, let me start with you. When you heard the story, the gas plant especially, I mean, we had one even in Lagos, even close by, CMD a few years back.
But let's even use that one as case in study. So when that one happened, a lot of things had been built to prevent, such colossal damage that would have happened because it's located in the residential area. And remember that the residents came to meet the gas plant. So in Delta State, let's even assume, okay, I don't know that area in Delta State. Let's assume that people came to meet the gas plants. The building approvals that, that continue to allow residents to live. And then safety standards. So within the DPR, there's a department called Health, Safety and Environment. I know very well. And I know that their duties also include that. Whenever they have petrol stations, gas plants located anywhere, they have certain standards of safety guidelines that must be met. I want to call out DPR here because I don't feel them. Their head of media should be here this morning as we are speaking, but when you call, this person always dodges. So maybe they should employ a proper PR person that knows this field and knows how to respond to us and knows how to douse people and be a proper face for the Department of Petroleum Resources. Their duties are beyond all of this. Whenever we have these gas plants burning, the first culprit is the DPR. How did they operate? What are the guidelines? Did they even meet standards? Because when lives are lost, we cannot be. That's it. You cannot use stock to replace it.
I heard the governor saying that, oh, they're going to pay the medical bills. Yes. They're going to ensure that this doesn't happen. We get that narrative all the time. It's becoming like a rhetoric that Nigerians are sick of.
To add to the gas explosion that happened, they will be taken to Edo State, Benin University Teaching Hospital in Benin. It's a specialist hospital in Benin. You take them out of Delta State to Edo State. So this is the conversations we've had, especially also with your area, which is we're talking of fire service, we're talking of hospitals, clinics, all those things that are meant to be basic and situated there. They're not there. And you know, for me, every time we come here, we shout, we raise our voices, we name DPR, we call them out one after the other. I mean, it's nothing. They already know what to do, so they're not doing it. So my thing is, like, if I have people who work for me in my house, the first few weeks, I would say it over and over again, this is what you should do. After a while, when you don't do it, you and I will have a conversation. Do you want to keep on doing this job, or do you want to leave? And so that is the conversation I have with the government now and our the current administration. When things like this happen, it's not because you do not understand what people are going through. It's not because you do not have a sense of what is needed to protect people. It's because you have decided not to do it. So the question now is, are you interested in continuing, you know, being in government, or you let someone else who is more interested or ready to do it?
I don't even know how to go about removing our leaders. I mean, it is frustrating that we have to keep talking about this over and over again. God forbid next week again we'll hear another story. Something just blew up. Now, the one that even happened in Ondo was a cement truck that rammed into a Hilux and killed people instantly. I mean, there's a part of the accident. There's another part of community response. We know you don't have maybe emergency, but there's a way that once that thing happens, some people go into shock and they're unconscious. They can actually still be revived if they get quick emergency. But no, we first of all do the home video, man, hey, you come and help us. Like, theatrics. What Nollywood has sold us, because to act it out first. Yeah. Hey, you come and see you, carry your camera, look at that. When we should actually immediately carry them or even get help, call the hospital.
Call
the hospital to come and get them. No, we've dramatized first.
So I think that you see, human nature will take advantage of lapses in the laws. Human nature will take advantage of, human nature is selfish. The human nature is selfish. So if the government creates a system that encourages capitalism and there is no punishment for of course, we need capitalism to make the environment, to encourage business growth. But until there are strong punitive measures, so the cement company that owns the truck is not the driver you would arrest. It is not, it is the cement company, the owners of the cement company that will bear the brunt by paying extremely high penalty fees that would make it like you will be forced to maintain your vehicles, you'll be forced to train your drivers, you'll be forced to provide watering spots for them to rest intermittently. That's on one side. Another is there must be a conscious drive, because when we say this, people react the way they've been brought up to react. Our natural reaction, number one, is to shout. The next reaction is to capture the moment based on social media that I was there.
Who brought them up to capture on social media?
Yes, because everybody wants to trend. Everybody wants their video to be the one trending, their voiceover be the one trending. So we need to now inculcate a different habit in our people to say, this is the first response. And that's why we have a national orientation agency. Their job is to create the ideal and sell it to people. What are they doing? So our response to emergency is very poor. We don't have facility to take care of people. Lagos did massive investment into these things. That's why it seems like Lagos. We have a LASEMA, we have those trucks. Each governor keeps expanding what is available. What are the other states doing? If you can't afford it, then create a system where every locality, everybody that has a gas plant must have a fire truck. They must buy one. They must have a small clinic funded by them. These are things that, these are the ways corporate social responsibility would ensure there is direct impact on the society you are making money from. Honestly, it's about creativity. It's not rocket science.
I really wish
it's about concern.
Yes. I really wish our phone lines were working, because I would have really loved to hear Nigerians.
People from that area, and you can tweet and go to Facebook.
I would have loved to hear your thoughts on this, because the truth is, we are tired. I'm personally even tired of this show, of this topic, of this matter, because I feel like we're going to do it again maybe next week or next month, or the next few months. We're going to keep saying this. But now, when we're going to go on a break. When we come back now, I want to focus. We'll try to see if we can bring in some guests, some people who can explain to us exactly how governments can begin to have do a U-turn in their approach to things like this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about accidents happening. One of the critical things we have not even talked about is the fact that in Ondo, the highway where this accident happened is in front of a university. So there's a suspicion that many of the students are probably involved in the fatalities recorded. This then begs for the conversation of, when you have a highway so close to university, what kind of safety measures have you put in place to ensure that in case of anything happens, at least there's safe there, there's a fire truck, or there's a hospital, or there's an emergency response service close by to protect the kids. The kind of safety we see when we have the government offices, when it's the governor's office, deputy governor's office, you can't even carry, the trailer can't even go around that area. Yeah. That's the kind of protection we're asking for children. And so we expect that the government is taking a step further to ensure the safety of children. Today we're having the Special Advisor to the Governor on Transportation, Mr. Toby Ogunleye. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
I'm with you. Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. We're quite saddened about this development that happened. I mean, it's not only your state, in fairness, it's across the country. We hear of these accidents that we believe is actually avoidable. I'm not really interested in what the government is going to do in reacting. I'd like to know what you're doing to ensure, to forestall another from happening.
Well, like you rightly said, it's highly disheartening. Accident is not what people actually look for. That is why it's being called accident or accidental occurrence. You know, road, prima facie is not a state road. So it's a federal road. It's always busy. It's a road that link up Ondo State with other states, especially the northern part. And then you know, university community is a specialized city too, with all manners of behaviors and activities. What the state will do, or what have you done? I would rather address, I will appeal to our side, the attitude of our people, the community. Yes, it is glorious to have a university in a community, but the antecedent evil that is associated with it is like this. People want to come to the road. I believe in Akungba there is a traditional market. I'm trying to talk about the previous one. This last one was not even it did not happen at the market. Very close to the university gate. We need to invest in our attitude, in what we are. The training of drivers, the trainings for the pedestrians. People who just walk carelessly. Like the last one that happened in Akungba, the vehicle, I was told that the vehicle ran into a business center. I will enjoy every business-oriented person. If you want to establish filling station, that what we call environmental impact assessment, I think there's a need for us to have traffic impact assessment. Akungba, in some years back, it's not within the thoroughfare of civilization, but today is at the heartbeat of civilization. We need to, as we normally have environmental impact assessment, there must be traffic impact assessment for any establishment of business-related things. I could recollect. In Arakale, in Akure, Arakale used to be a normal street. Not until about 9 years ago that the issue of devaluation came. The normal, ordinary building now became banking houses, schools, and other things, without taking into cognizance the traffic implication.
Okay, sir.
So,
okay,
I want
sir.
to say,
can you hear me, sir?
the federal government and the state government.
Okay.
And with you,
Mr. Agune, are you still there?
I'm there. I thought you wanted to ask a question.
Yes, please pause 1 second. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. You've listed a few things. What I've been trying to hear from you is what the Ondo State government have done. What has been done, considering the fact that you have said there should be environmental impact assessment before any business is established. You listed a lot of the accidents that are taking place. My question is, what has the state governor, you are a special advisor to the governor, what has the governor done to ameliorate these things from happening? What are the safety emergency equipments, facilities that have been provided to ensure that when these kind of things happen, we don't have this high death toll because we have access to hospitals and all of that? What has the government done specifically, sir?
In addition, what have you even advised the governor to do?
Let me leave the you now. Let me just say, what has the government done? Let me address that. Because of the incessant report of this mishap in that place, the government of Ondo State will interface with the traditional leaders and the community people there that the market along the road should be relocated, and we are there serious about it. Because of the expansion and then the civilization that has come upon Akungba as a sort of the location or the siting of the university. So everywhere now becomes market. So it has become a crime for anybody to site or locate or to operate any market along the thoroughfare there. So the State Minister of Physical and Urban Planning has been mandated that they should site a new market off the road. Look at this one that happened. Nobody envisaged that all these shops along the road. Nobody ever envisaged that.
It's the job of the government to envisage. It's the job of the government to plan and do all the risk assessment. It's the job of the government to see 10 years, 20 years down the line. It's the job of the government to see that there is a fire hazard somewhere and position a fire truck around the area, knowing this is a fire-prone area. That's the job of the government. Their job is to see everything individuals can't see.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying, the issue of market, that one has been addressed. I'm very sad. Very sad now. Let me now say this. If you look at every left and right of any major town, you will see shops, you see this thing. Now that this thing has happened, very regrettable, I'm sorry. Very, very regrettable. Very, very regrettable.
It's avoidable.
So you know,
it's avoidable, this loss of life.
What I'm saying, man. You know the policy of government. The government is for the people. So the people put the government there. Anytime that we are trying to do something, some people there will be ill and cry again. Oh, they want to dislodge us, oh, they want to take our shops here, oh. But this thing has happened. We are not going to be moved by emotion. Henceforth, I did not even mention the issue of environmental impact assessment. That is not, I said if you want to cite a filling station, but there's one that has not been done.
Sir, hold on. So sorry to interrupt you, but maybe I should land my question first so you understand what I mean.
Okay.
Now, when you have roads, it's normal to have markets try to move to where they have, customers. So even if you push them back, the sellers will still try to come forward. Are there plans to put in proper barricades? Because yes, it's a federal government road, but we've seen it done in Lagos. So the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway heading out of Lagos is a federal government road. And it was such that you had traffic, you had people crossing, students trying to cross from the market to school, and all of that happening. Do you have plans to put in a pedestrian bridge, for instance, some form of barricades to protect the people from crossing into the expressway and, you know, at least reduce the number of people that will be available on the road? Something to stop a failed brake truck from crossing into the market. Not just move the market. Now, something to, you know, like a protection, barricade, iron or something, you know, to protect the impact as much as possible. Those are the kind of questions my colleague was trying to ask earlier.
All right, I'll let you answer that question.
With foresight, you would have put all of those things.
I'll let you answer that question after this quick break. Stay with us, sir. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guests with us. Yes, so before the break, Nima asked a question concerning plans of the governor to ensure they protect the citizens who are crossing over from the universities to the markets and all that. So I'd like you to go ahead and answer that question, Mr. Oguleye.
I'm here with you.
That question that Nima asked before the break.
Okay, so what are we going to do? Thank God that Mr. Governor was physically there yesterday. He was there to have on-the-spot assessment of this carnage that happened. I want you to know one thing. We have our responsibility as a state. And the federal government, like I told you, because of the connectivity, is a federal road. One thing that I am very sure now is total evacuation of this market from the road. We want to create a special market for the community and the students. And on the issue of line will not be out of place if the governor have not have that one because of the emergency, the intervention that we need. I, by virtue of my position as an advisor to him, a special advisor, I will equally write a memo, especially at that frontage of the university. There is need for us to have about 2 or 3 flyovers to avoid these two crossing the highways. So whether the federal government, because we need to take permission from federal government, but because of the exigency and the necessity of it, we are going to take the bull by the horn. So I will advise Mr. Governor that there's need for us to have this flyover.
Right, okay. Let me get one more question in for you.
Okay, sir. When accidents like this happen and government hasn't yet put in place infrastructure to protect its citizens, who bears the brunt? Who takes the blame? Who pays compensation? What sort of compensation do they get? If students happen to be involved in these accidents and lives were lost, what does the government do for the families involved? Or is this just, oh, well, we're sorry, bye, and we go? We are talking about lives here. The issue of competition, where do we start the negotiation? So I don't know how much you want to pay to compensate for the lost soul. We can start
rather, the issue of compensation is above me. I don't know. How do we compensate a life? Like, imagine the dense student union president, who is 500 level in Faculty of Law. How do we compensate his parents? Well, the issue of compensation, I don't think is a matter to be discussed here. Sir, we need to do something to prevent this thing from occurring again.
I totally agree with you that no amount can compensate for loss of lives, but we know that a failed brake is a mechanical error. And the standard of, of quality of trucks on our roads is a problem if the truck drivers continue to drive substandard trucks on our roads. Before you get on the road with such heavy load, you should have proper brakes You know, you shouldn't have a problem when you are climbing up and your brakes are failing. You understand? So for that alone, we should have your lawyers in the Ministry of Justice in Ondo State negotiating proper compensation on behalf of these families, because if criminally we can even prosecute for that kind of homicide.
Let me say this, by His grace, I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. I know what you are saying. Let me tell you what we've done in Ondo State. We have a world-class vehicle inspection service center in Ondo State. All these vehicles, they only transit across Ondo State. Whoever that is cannot go scot-free. Like you said, it is a criminal act. Are you with me? It's a criminal act. It's thought you can sue. It's even you can sue. But what I'm saying, we are talking about life. We will double our efforts to ensure that these drivers are not reckless. And then on the one part, as this thing is recurring, whether federal government affairs, we need to put some speed breakers, bombs, especially within the municipal. On express road. The university municipal, the university city, or any other major city, where we have an appreciable level of population across the road. We need to do this thing. There is nobody commissions that will go scot-free. I know the drivers who have been arrested by now.
Sir, no one is saying...
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you, sir, but please, just to clarify, nobody is saying... I'm not saying that paying compensation is a way of... it makes up for the death of a lost one. That is not what we're saying. But compensations are important because it also serves like a form of sanction, especially for those who are meant to be in charge of ensuring that people are safe. When they understand that they may have to pay for their negligence, it will protect, it would ensure that they do better next time. Because what we normally get from people who are meant to be in charge of ensuring that we're safe is, well, this has happened, it's an accident, it's the will of God, everybody goes, and it happens over and over again. So apart from writing this memo and coming on television and talking to the families of lost ones, people need to also know that something has gone out of you, you know, to show that you are sorry and you are trying to make compensation and do better next time.
And also, in addition to what Nima also said earlier, compensation also could be when the government of Ondo State files a case in court against the truck, the company. So the parents, the families of those who lost their lives feel that the government is working on their behalf.
Let me say this. You may not know, but let me now tell you. I'm sorry, I don't want to mention particular company name. There are some particular names that are notorious with this act. Most of them, they are uneducated, and they are not ready to be educated. In this wise, Ondo State has established an institute to train every driver and Okada riders in our state. And whoever that is transiting that violates any of the traffic rules, in that institute, we are having about 4 centers. Let me mention them. Psychiatric Center, Optical Center, NDLA for drugs and narcotics, and the Federal Road Safety as our professional instructor. We are talking, training and education is so important. There, within, among our curricula, there, the training of rights and duty and the obligation of drivers. If you claim to be bad to Reshi, we will teach you in the language that you understand. We'll bring somebody who understands Reshi to tell you that all these things that you are doing is not right. Okay. So, Ondo State, I can't believe it is a state that is an habit. When you are coming from Abuja to Lagos, you must transit Lagos and Ondo State. So, we are putting that system in place
With what you just said, it's obvious that, you know, you're referring to a particular tribe using, using a particular tribe of drivers. Is it not possible also that by court action, you compel that company to train their drivers on proper road usage and, you know, and have a psychological test or whatever for their drivers so that the people driving their trucks are also, you know, properly, of proper mind?
Yeah. Let me say this. I'm sorry to be tribal inclined. I'm sorry. All tribes are guilty of this. Whether Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo. Sorry for using that. But what we are facing on a daily basis, even when you are trying to talk to them, they say, no, I don't understand English. So what we are saying, it is a matter of policy in Ondo State now. If you are going to transfer business with us on transportation, be driver or this, you must attend this school and then you'll be awarded certificate.
Okay, I think at this point I'll let you go.
If you don't have it, hello?
I think at this point we'll let you go, sir, but we've heard you. We've seen what the government of Ondo State is doing, especially clearing out the markets and getting the special market for the students and relocating the one on the expressway, amongst other things. We thank you, Mr. Toby Ogunle, Special Advisor to the Governor of Ondo State on Transportation. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll take a few tweets, and then hopefully we'll have a guest from Delta State. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Staying with us. So we're going to try to bring in a representative from the Delta State government to tell us how they're managing the issue of the gas plant explosion. But whilst we're waiting for that connection, I'd like to hear your thoughts on our conversation with the SA to the governor of...
Don't even hear our thoughts, just hear what Twitter is saying.
Okay, so let's hear your tweet.
Save Nigeria says, Akungba Road linking the school gate has always been a death zone for students. I was in the same location at the same gate where a whole tanker fell off at the same location. The government won't do anything. They will say it's federal road. And G. Baz Kuli Cookie says, Dangote trucks have killed, injured many people without government doing nothing. From what the SA is saying, they have no plans on ground for that university. They will keep quiet and wait until another experience. I don't know why people are this heartless. Temi says some governments are more concerned about the state capital only. From the response of the commissioner, it's obvious that the Ondo government has no plans to prevent any similar occurrence in future. I bet nothing will be done. He said, rest in peace to the dead. Do you want to take some, Tokwe?
Any other things?
Plenty.
So, I mean, do you feel, as a Nigerian citizen, do you feel reassured by the SA that the government is at least working on something? At least they're going to clear the markets. And they said that they're hoping that they might get 2 or 3 flyovers to help the students. So that's a step in the right direction. Don't you think?
I mean, it's just the regular rhetoric. We hear this all the time. They say this every time anything happens. We know sometimes we know exactly what they're going to say. We can just finish their sentences for them.
It's a federal road.
Yes, a federal road. We have been talking to them, but they have refused to listen. And sometimes you're wondering, okay, who is the enforcer here and who is the, why are you there in the first place? So I do not have any confidence, really, in just talk. I hope, although I am hoping and I'm praying that they carry it much more than lip service and they do something, please, because lives are involved.
Let me take this
I mentioned to him that the job of the government is to plan. The job of the government is to see ahead. The job of the government is to help the short-minded and selfish nature of all our citizens to ensure that these kind of things don't happen. That's the job of the government. The government is supposed to see that there'll be cholera. I must force all my citizens to boil their water before drinking and clean up the environment. That is what the government is meant to do. So one, I feel like it's the same thing we hear. But aside from that, we've said this thing over and over again. Every governor and representative of the governor knows that Nigerians are wiser now than before. Anything can happen in any part of Nigeria and it will be online immediately. So we must do beyond just talking after the fact.
All right,
and preempt these things.
I'd like us to bring in we have a TVC correspondent from Delta State, Amechi Ikena. Will give us an update on what's going on in Delta State. Yeah. Good morning, Amechi. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Good to have you. Thanks for joining us on the show this morning. So could you give us an update on the gas explosion that happened over the weekend in Delta State?
All right. For now, what we know is that what happened in that is unfortunate on Friday night around 5 p.m. Some of the injured are now in the hospital. They are in the University Hospital in Benin City. And they are receiving treatment. And of course, the Delta State government has made payment of about 3 million for the deposit for their treatment of those who injured. And about 4 people, we know about 4 people died, 3 children and 1 woman died on that Friday, which the gas plant exploded at Agbor. It's on the expressway in spite of the gas plant. And right now, the people are actually not happy. When the government went to that place, we were really apprehensive of the fact that they're saying that if the medical doctors or medical workers, health workers in the clinic nearby, which is the Agbor Central Hospital, if they were on hand to actually rescue people, they could have saved some life. But the government countered and said that what they are saying is actually because they are coming from an unprofessional point of view, because there were about 10 medical doctors and other health workers at the clinic, at the hospital. But, because the level of funds they had, they couldn't actually handle such a kind of degree. And so they have to refer them, and with the aid of some ambulances, about 4 ambulances were deployed, and they were moved to Federal Medical Center here in Asaba, and of course, UBTH in Benin.
Okay,
and
Amechi,
so far they've received.
We understand the reactions of governments. We can almost play it as a script. But what I would like to hear from you is, are there conversations within the government so far on how to prevent this from happening in the first place, how to ensure it doesn't happen again? Have you started hearing things from the government officials on this?
Well, immediately the governor at the spot, the governor actually said that there was a legislator working with him there, another 2 actually legislators, state legislators, and instead the government immediately sent a bill to the House of Assembly to ensure that we restrict fighting of this kind of gas plants in residential area. A lot of all these gas plants are sited in the residential area. I have one close by me here, and of course, several others in the residential area. And the governor actually noted that if this one would have, if it has happened in a fully packed residential area, the carnage could have been more than what we actually saw in Agbor, where you saw body parts everywhere, of people that literally were from on their houses and others just walking by. We were not even close to the place, from 500 or 200 meters away from where the explosion happened, because the impact of the explosion actually affected them. So the governor is saying that they will have to monitor when they will actually send the bill to the House of Assembly and to see that the enactees could have not happened in the nearest future.
So Amechi, please, could you just help me understand and clarify this? These gas plants that we're talking about, how long have they been in these areas? And this legislation that the government is talking about, how long ago was this, has it been in the works? Is this a recent thing? Was this on the back of what has just happened? And what is the immediate thing that the government wants to do to protect or, to to protect its indigenes going forward? Just immediately, what are they putting in place right now? Are they moving any gas plants immediately? Are they moving people immediately? What are they doing right now?
It's really difficult to actually say what they will do immediately, because right now I don't know what they can do to actually remove all these gas plants that are scattered across the state capital and other parts of the state. And so what the governor did, and that thought actually came after the incident, which the governor said is very necessary for them to do the legislation to ensure that that gas plants are sited away, far away from where residential areas, so that such kind of incidents will not happen and, of course, cause them damages. Because those people handling the gas plant, actually, when they saw that the fire was actually coming out from the pipes, they ran away. They were not they could do. They ran away. If casualties were not from them, rather from people that were onlookers and people in their houses. So you see that if there were something that probably a safety device or a safety mechanism to ensure that when this fire and this unfortunate incident starts, probably in that early stage, they can stop it before it actually gets into because they were actually, what would I say, pumping gas to this gas station, and they've actually pumped the gas completely to the gas tank before the fire started, and the tanker driver and the people that are in that gas plant left when they saw the fire, and so they exploded, and the people that were watching were the one impacted and those living in their houses. I'm
even afraid to ask if there was a fire station around or something. I kind of know the answer to that question.
Well, I can say that the fire act is actually came, but when it comes to gas fire, the impact is quite the level of impact is prompt. It's just in seconds everywhere. And the bushes around there, the vegetation all got caught fire. So when they actually, the after effect of putting out the fire, the gas plants, and of course the houses that caught fire.
Thank you, Amechi, for giving us an update from the Delta State. We appreciate you joining us this morning. We're speaking to Amechi Kena, who is our correspondent from Delta State. So, okay, let's take a few tweets and run away.
Traffic updates and plus useful info says relocation of the market stop accidents. What I expected was enforce a speed limit for high traffic areas, engage drivers, install barriers and pedestrians, construct alternative routes. Andrew says Nigerian leaders have.
That's all we can take.
Is it that your guest from Ondo State didn't get the questions correctly or chose to answer them in a way that he imagined in his mind? Because I don't understand.
Okay, we have to run. That's all we can take on the show today.
Just to raise this one is a lot on the Benin or a continuous kidnapping happening there. We don't have to wait until they are issuing threats from Benin before we do.
Or it's an elder statesman's child that's kidnapped before we start making noise. Yes. That's all we can take. Oh my goodness, Nigeria, we hail thee. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.